Okay, yo, family. Peace in, family. I pray everyone is well. I pray everyone is well. It's Monday. And so Monday, I like to talk about Maat. And Maat, not only as a spiritual concept, but as a way of life and how we can use that ancient principle to get the best out of this reality we wake up into every single rising. Someone asked me the other day, why do I do what I do? Why do I always focus on the message that I focus on? Why do I teach spiritual law? Why do I, why as an artist do I push Cesarojo using music and dance as meditation? Why not do things the normal way? It's because, family, one thing that stuck with me throughout my life is I believe earth is heaven. I believe we actually live in heaven. And all that's happened is either we've forgotten how to harmonize with heaven to have a paradise experience, because I also believe that heaven and paradise are two different things, but I'll get into that. I believe we've forgotten how to harmonize with heaven to have paradise. I believe that there are forces that intentionally do not want us to experience paradise on earth, aka heaven on earth. And so we are constantly sold and psychologically attacked and manipulated to define reality and the world that we live in such a way that it blocks us from actually living in what we deserve, which is heaven. I love it right now. This is so many tabs have just opened up for me in terms of where I can go with this conversation. But I use that as an intro to today's topic. Which is going to be about Maat herself. This is going to be a continuation from my last video where I spoke about the fact that I didn't realize I was raised in a culture that was really encouraging me to worship the feminine deity, or neter, which is the correct terminology, the feminine neteru, known as Maat. I spoke about that in the last video. We could get into that, and I've got whole courses on this. My entire spiritual game is about learning how to live and embrace Maat. But in this video, I want to bring out something that I said in the last video, but go into it a bit deeper. And that was that the premise of the last video was this: there is no way to connect with God in the ways that we seek to. There's no way to truly align with God without aligning, particularly as a man, especially as a man. So let me reframe. As a man, there's no way to truly align with God's calling, singular calling for you, without understanding the role of the feminine principles that surround you, both in the physical feminine, the humans that you interact with, be it your mother, your daughter, your wife, your sisters, and the feminine principle known as Mother Earth, Ma, the Earth. Yes? And this is something that I only discovered, and a lot of men, if you see like a lot of men, you can see our favorite celebrities, and they're going through this whole transformation in their awareness, and all of a sudden the language that they used to use in regards to women is no longer acceptable for them. All of a sudden they're embracing more feminine aspects of their manhood, because we are all made up of both polarities. They're embracing more feminine aspects of their manhood, which look more like spirituality, which look more like mindfulness, which look more like esoteric grounding. And this is amazing. And again, this isn't by chance. This is spiritual law. Spiritual law, family. As taught by our ancestors, which is scientific law, says that your connection to your creator is gated by the feminine principle. Case in point, the only way you was able to come from heaven into flesh was through the feminine principle known as Maat, represented by your mother. And again, family, this is not to be taken in any tiny, small account. This is a reference to say that your connection back to your source, your connection back to the one who called you into existence, you as the holy child coming through the Holy Mother, your connection to the Holy Father is gated by your connection to the Holy Mother. Your ability to align with that feminine principle in you, in earth, and in the women that you interact with, particularly your family members and the woman you choose, the woman you choose to be with. Again, this is important to say because it doesn't get spoken about enough. We've heard so much about prophets and their path back to God and their path back to their creator. We've heard so much about those men, which is important stories because, again, if you're a man, a woman has internal spiritual mechanisms. She grows spiritually internally. A man has to physically go through life for his spiritual growth. You see, it is dependent on what he makes himself become. That's how his spiritual awareness grows. And so, it's really important for me, not only as someone who mentors a lot of young men, and not only as someone who just personally, outside of that, just strives to be the best man I could be, it's important that I share my findings in how our ancestors who have lived for millions of years brought awareness to the divine role of the feminine principle in a man's spiritual development. As men, we sit amongst each other all the time and ask ourselves, how is it that women have so much power over us? Just to keep it 100. How is it they have so much power over us? How is it that they're able to dismantle us without lifting a finger? You know, how is it that great men that are revered by the multitude, are often brought down by the seduction of a woman and his lack of sexual awareness of himself? Also, society sets him up. But you know, that aside, which is it's a big piece. I need to do a video on that. But like that aside, we are all sexually ignorant. And men suffer the most because we cannot experience the heaven that we've come here to experience if we don't take stock of our sexual discipline. You see, our sexual discipline, our priesthood, yes? Women have a yoni. I call this our priesthood. Our priesthood is our wand and sword to cut through realities and manifest heaven on earth. That is why we are given so much sexual power, so much sexual drive, so much sexual potency. The woman arouses that, and we are to make that manifest with her, through her, but aligning it with our God. And I'm going to do more on this because there's just so many tabs opening while I'm talking. And so I want to keep it as concise as possible. It's really important that we begin to understand that what has hurt men the most in their spiritual development holds the key to what will empower them the most as well. And so this is fundamental. A message to men and women. Your sexuality is not evil. Your sexual nature is a tool for your creator. It's not a product of evil. It's not a product of malevolent entities. Though you may experience your sexuality in the realms of imbalance, disharmony, chaos, toxicity, though you may experience it in the realms of those definitions, it is the exact precise thing that brings you to reality every single day. It is exactly the precise function and form that designs you. And so therefore, we are only at dis-ease with that quality just based on ignorance. And so I'm going to continue to have dialogue along this understanding of male, masculine, female, feminine, man, woman, sexuality, and God. And I'm going to be using spiritual law to bring awareness and understanding as to how those should function in a harmonious way. So, all I want to know, are you in the game? No. So today's lesson, family, you cannot enter into this world without Maat, the earth. Don't let me throw something. Don't let me, listen, sip and tea. Let's break that down. Maat, which is how Maat is pronounced in Africa. Maat, 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 Maat. Maat, the earth. Maat, the earth is the only way, or Maat, the heart. Because earth, you take the H. It's an anagram. Earth is an anagram. You take the H and put it at the beginning of earth. It's heart. What is the first organ to appear in the body when you come from heaven into flesh? It's the heart. It's the first organ to appear in the womb. The heart. Yes? Who is Maat? Go and study. To my Christians. Right? If you want to know the name of the Holy Spirit, her name is Maat. I didn't make this up. This is spiritual law. Go and Google Maat and Kemetic spirituality, or just Maat, the goddess, and just read all the information and come back here for some deeper understanding. But ma, the heart, is always pictured gripping a scale with heart, your heart. Yes, which represents your connection, the portal between your creator, Asa, and your person, Mikhail in this case. That's the heart. She holds the heart, and the feather on the other side, which represents the transcendence, family. Ma, the earth, is the way, the truth, and the lifestyle you must live in order to be aligned and have harmony with your creator. This is the game that I'm playing. This is the game that I invite you to become aware of. Your relationship with yourself and the women of this world is your training ground to aligning with Ma'a, the earth, Ma'a, the heart, Mother Earth, Ma'at. Family, I'm going to leave it right there. Get in the game with me, family. If anyone wants some personal one-to-one guidance on this principle and aligning their life with this understanding, Ma'at, harmony, truth, balance, reciprocity, homeostasis, divine order, rhythm, just message me, family, DM me, and we'll have the conversation. But for now, I'm going to leave that with you. Peace in, love out. Hey!